Alright everyone, welcome back to Crypto Brain. Today we are analyzing Toshi, and the key discussion circulating across the market right now revolves around a very bold scenario. What happens if Binance lists Toshi, and could that realistically push the price toward the $1 level? Rather than reacting emotionally to the headline, we'll break this down through liquidity mechanics, market cap structure, and exchange dynamics. Let's begin with the fundamental reality of exchange power. When a project receives attention from Binance, the conversation changes immediately. Binance is not simply another trading platform, it is the largest global liquidity hub in the cryptocurrency ecosystem. The exchange processes billions in daily trading volume, hosts millions of active traders, and acts as a primary gateway for capital entering emerging assets. Because of this, a Binance listing often acts as a structural catalyst. The first major impact is liquidity expansion. When an asset becomes available on Binance, the order books become dramatically deeper. Traders from across the world gain immediate access through spot markets, stablecoin trading pairs, and often additional derivatives infrastructure. This removes one of the largest barriers to growth: limited accessibility. The second impact is credibility acceleration. For many investors, Binance functions almost like a filtering mechanism. The exchange performs due diligence before listing projects, which creates the perception that a listed asset has reached a certain threshold of legitimacy. That perception alone can drive large waves of speculative interest. The third factor is global exposure. Once a token appears on Binance dashboards, trending pages, and high-volume trading sections, it becomes visible to millions of traders who may not have previously heard of the project. Visibility leads to watchlist additions, watchlists lead to trading curiosity, and curiosity often leads to capital inflows. Now let's address the central question. Could a Binance listing realistically push Toshi toward the $1 mark? To answer that properly, we need to look at the relationship between price and market capitalization. A token reaching $1 is not purely a psychological milestone. It implies that the total value of the circulating supply reaches a certain market cap threshold. Therefore, the real question is not simply can price reach $1, but rather, can the market support the valuation required to reach that level? Historically, when meme-oriented tokens gain listings on major exchanges like Binance, we often observe three distinct phases. The first phase is anticipation. Traders begin accumulating positions ahead of potential listings because they expect a surge in attention once the announcement arrives. The second phase is announcement momentum. Once the listing is confirmed, trading volume explodes almost instantly. New traders rush in, liquidity expands rapidly, and the price often experiences a sharp upward impulse. The third phase is structural revaluation. This is the stage that determines whether the asset continues climbing or stabilizes after the initial excitement fades. For Toshi, a Binance listing would dramatically increase the probability of entering that second phase with strong momentum. The reason is simple. Meme sector tokens thrive on narrative amplification. When a project combines community enthusiasm with exchange accessibility, the reflexive loop begins. Price movement attracts attention. Attention attracts traders. Traders increase volume. Volume deepens liquidity, and when liquidity deepens, larger capital players begin to participate. Another element that must be considered is pairing structure. If Toshi were listed with major trading pairs such as USDT or other stablecoins, it would immediately integrate into the most liquid trading pathways in crypto. That allows high-frequency traders and algorithmic strategies to engage with the asset, increasing turnover and price discovery. From a purely structural standpoint, the path toward a $1 valuation would depend on several key factors aligning simultaneously. First, the strength of community engagement. Meme sector assets rely heavily on social momentum. Second, trading volume sustainability after the initial listing excitement fades. Third, exchange ecosystem expansion beyond the first listing. Fourth, the broader crypto market cycle. When the entire market is in an expansion phase, speculative assets often experience exponential growth. If those four elements align, extreme price expansions become far more plausible. However, professional analysis must always include risk context. Not every Binance listing results in a long-term upward trend. In some cases, early investors use the listing event as a liquidity opportunity to take profits. The difference between a short-lived spike and a sustained rally lies in post-listing momentum. If trading volume remains high and new participants continue entering the market, the trend can extend far beyond the initial announcement. Looking at Toshi's current narrative positioning, the asset sits within the high volatility, high attention segment of the crypto market. That environment can produce extremely rapid price discovery when liquidity expands. If a Binance listing were to materialize, the token would gain access to one of the largest trading audiences in the world. That alone would dramatically increase visibility and potential demand. Whether that ultimately pushes the price toward $1 depends on how the market reacts after that exposure begins. In summary, the scenario being discussed across the market is not purely speculative hype. There is a logical structural pathway behind it. A Binance listing would expand liquidity, accelerate visibility, and strengthen perceived credibility. Those three elements together often form the foundation for large market revaluations in emerging crypto assets. But the true determinant will always be sustained participation. If traders continue entering the ecosystem and liquidity continues expanding, then price discovery can move far beyond what early observers initially expect. That's exactly why moments like this attract so much attention from analysts and traders across the crypto landscape. If you appreciate calm, structured, and professional market breakdowns, make sure you're subscribed to Crypto Brain, where we analyze opportunities through logic, structure, and disciplined strategy, rather than emotional hype. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next analysis.